first?
Okay. What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? We are live and in action. It has been too long since we've been live and in action. What an exciting day. We have the brackets being announced shortly. We have 14.2 seconds before Illinois wins the conference championship. What a big, big win there. 89-84, 14.2 seconds left, and the brackets will begin to be announced. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Let's see who we got. Oh, man, we got Marlon Z putting in that hustle. We call you Marlon Z up here, Marlon. Look at that. Marlon in business. First in the chat, showing that hustle. Jordan Nordman in the house. Arthur Mead Jr., the nuke worker, ready to get to work. Buzznut721. Nate Dog 420. Puzzler, a.k.a. Canascat, in the house. Paco Healy coming to us live from San Diego. Slats 45 coming to us. Man, love our guy Slats 45. All right, man. There's Nelson Lou in the house. Nilu. John Schwartz. Nice to see Schwartzy, baby. Swervin. Look at all these guys back in action. Max, what a giant day. How are you doing, my man?
It has been a goddamn fantastic day, Jim. Alabama, baby. Roll Tide, roll. SEC conference champions, SEC tournament champions. Could they be the NCAA champions? Wow. This team is fucking potent, defensively sound, ready to make shots at the right time. I'm excited. And of course, Jim, I started my day off watching the Patriot League Championship, watching Colgate, not the toothpaste, dominate like I dominate ladies of the night. And then I got the extreme pleasure of watching my St. Bonaventure Bonnies smash mouth on those VCU Rams to take the A10 title. And you better watch out for those Bonnies in the tournament. You don't want your team going up against them because they're going to get some cock soup if they're not careful.
And also Houston smash and grab over Cincinnati. You had cashed Cincinnati double ups, but money line first halves back to back. And what did you think of Houston laying down the beat?
Oh, Houston was ridiculous. They throttled Cincinnati in that second half, putting up 50. I had Cincinnati first half +8, which lost. I did hit the over in the first half and then hit Houston second half. So it was a profitable and enjoyable game for me. I even closed my eyes for about 10 minutes during the game. So anytime that I can close my eyes, I don't got to pay attention to 4 or 5 live books for betting purposes is just heaven for me. And watching Illinois right now, Jim, I'm trying to cash a money line parlay for me and my Patreon subs, and we're 5.1 seconds away from getting it.
Oh, man, it's a fun time of year. I just love seeing all our guys back in action. Razor Sharp Picks, Paco, Nuke Worker, Robert Allen, Nilo, John Schwartzy coming to us from Vegas. Man, great to see everybody. We have so much to talk about. And we have Illinois about to be the Big Ten champions. And when that is finalized, we're going to get to see the announcement. So I've got them live going on right now. We're 3.8 seconds away. So while we're 3.8 seconds away from the show starting, let's ask a couple questions for Max. And as you guys know, we're nothing without our chat, without the cappers who watch the show. So when you guys have questions, let me know. I'll throw them over to Max. And let's start, Max, with who are the teams do you see most at risk here, sitting on eggshells, very nervous about this announcement?
I think that the two obvious ones have to be St. Louis and have to be Utah State. Utah State not being able to close out the deal against SDSU last night, and then with St. Louis not being able to at least get to the conference finals in the A10 tourney really solidified. And listen, St. Louis, they were affected by COVID, so there's not really much they could have done. They could have been a little more aggressive scheduling some non-conference games in the conference season, but it is what it is. They made their bed. Now they have to lay it in and hope that the committee recognizes the talent and entertainment value versus what the net's going to say in the body of work.
Yeah, my God, wild stuff. Very, very exciting. Who are the teams coming out of the conference tournament that you think are matchups that to completely avoid? Who are the teams that you think other teams will be most fearful of getting the unlucky task of beating them?
Well, listen, I think that you have to be fearful of any team that made a really nice run to get to this tournament. So the bid stealers like Georgetown, Oregon State, even North Texas to an extent, those are the guys that you have to be careful of. And of course, any very good defensive efficient and defensive tempo team, you're going to have to be worried about, because if a team can limit your possessions when you're used to more up-tempo styles, that could be a death sentence in this single elimination format.
Who are the conference champions that you were most impressed with?
Listen, I think that I was impressed with Winthrop. I think that Winthrop obviously did not really help our bankrolls throughout the season as much as a lot of us anticipated. And seeing them be able to take it to a different level while being able to sort out some of their internal rotation issues definitely was satisfying. And I do think that if you see them in the first round, well, you better figure out how to slow down Chandler Vaudrin, and you better be able to stop the physicality and offensive rebounding potential of this Winthrop team, because when they miss a shot, they go and crash. They're not trying to get back on defense. And I'll also say this, another team you don't want to see is probably a team like Illinois. You know, I think that Illinois getting freaking Io back is definitely a huge boost. I think that when you see the development of Kofi Coburn, he just resembles Shaq. It just seems like you're watching Shaq all over again. You can't stop him from going up when he comes down with an offensive rebound. Those arms are too big. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just highly impressive. And in a close game, in a situation like that, you know that you can still toss him the ball and he's going to convert his free throws. So free throws are going to be key. And teams that don't hit their free throws, you should be fearful of in this tournament this year.
You're absolutely right. We have some cappers in our chat talking about teams that they were very impressed with. Our Paco Healy impressed with UC Santa Barbara. What do you see from them?
Listen, I think that UC Santa Barbara is a very talented team, but they need to match up with the right group in order to have success. I think that you have good guards scoring and you have two capable big men that can go up against most of these Power 5 front courts. I think that UCSB at the right number, if we're going to see them as a 7.5 point underdog or more, I think that I'll have to be looking that way. But until we see the brackets come out, it's hard to determine who's going to really have value and who has the potential to be that Cinderella, be that next Loyola Chicago.
Well, we have Greg Gumbel on screen looking drunk, ready to get to work here. So we're going to get that info here shortly. Questions coming in next from my man Schwartzy Baby. Says, Mr. Smart, are you underwhelmed with Iowa? Team to possibly fade.
Listen, I think with Iowa, the knock on them is always going to be the same thing. Can they match their offensive abilities on the defensive end? And that's not possible. Now, without Jack Nungy in the front court being injured and now having just Luka Garza as your most usable front court player, any opportunity that you can take it at him is going to be advantageous. And then when you have to rely on guys like Joe Wieskamp and Bohannon and McCaffrey and even my favorite X Factor Keegan Murray, it just makes Iowa less stout. And I think that you go into a deep front court, a tough half-court defensive team that can make shots, they're going to be able to definitely take Iowa.
It's the number one seed in the West region. Now, and going up against Norfolk, the winner of Norfolk and Appalachian State right there. Norfolk, Appalachian State. Max, first take on hearing Norfolk up against Appalachian State.
Yeah, I think that when you look at Norfolk, they definitely have to keep J.J. Matthews out of foul trouble. But this is a team that, although we've seen them look good We've seen them look good against lower tier opponents. I do worry against a stout defensive team, a team with good point guard play, and then a team with very good facilitation. That's App State. I don't know. I think that Norfolk's going to have their hands full with Appalachian State.
We have Oklahoma seeded 8th. Oklahoma, who will they be? It's so fun watching Max do this quick. Facing Missouri in the 9th seed. First take, Oklahoma, Missouri.
Yeah, I would have to be looking at Oklahoma. Missouri has just not impressed me as of late. I think that with their guard play, it leaves a lot to be desired. Drew Smith is definitely solid, but everyone behind him is definitely hit or miss.
Creighton has drawn the 5 seed. So we will see the 12 they'll be matching up against here in seconds. And it is UC Santa Barbara. Wow, that's going to be a fun game. Max, what do you think about Creighton, UC Santa Barbara? First take.
I think that if you see a total under 155, it probably has a good opportunity to hit, but it's going to be a matter, can UC Santa Barbara slow down Creighton's ball movement in the half court, and is Creighton going to hit threes? I think that you're going to see probably a double-digit line with this Creighton's group, and I'd be looking at UC Santa Barbara.
Oh, man, this is so fun. 4th seed Virginia locked in the West region, Max, going up against Ohio. Ooh, the Bobcats. Max, first take, Virginia, Ohio.
Yeah, I think that Ohio, depending on what the number is going to be the spot I want to look at. Jason Preston, although he's a redheaded devil spawn, I still think he's one fantastic basketball player. And with the strength that they have at the point guard spot, it's really going to be a matter of can they lock down the 3-point line on Virginia. I think that if Virginia's forced to score on the interior, that's where you're going to see Ben Vanderplas, Ben Roderick, and Dwight Wilson really played to a freaking advantage.
We have USC, the 6th seed, and the 11th seed play-in game. Oh, man. Wichita State, Drake. Very quickly, because the next ones are announced, Max.
So happy to see Drake in it. So happy to see Wichita after their loss. I think that that's a spot where I got to be looking at freaking Drake in the spot if they get some healthy bodies back. If Roman Penn and Hemphill aren't in it, I'm looking at Wichita State.
We got to go very quick here. We're falling a little behind, even though you've been perfect with how fast you're doing this. Next up, Kansas, Eastern Washington. Oh, man, we love them. What do you think, Max?
Yeah, I hope it's an inflated line because I'm looking at Eastern Washington. They are a very efficient, fast-tempo offensive team with Michael Meadows, with Jacob Davison, and the Grove brothers. So, yeah, I'm looking at Eastern Washington first glance.
Oregon, the 7th seed, going up against VCU, the 10th seed.
Yeah, I'm looking at Oregon in that spot. I think that VCU is definitely vulnerable. Oregon with the Canadians, Eugene Amori, I think that, and Chris Duarte, they're coming in, Canadian pride, sticking together. Oregon performs in tournaments.
Iowa gets the 2nd seed. They go up against Grand Canyon.
Yeah, listen, that's a perfect opportunity to get on Grand Canyon. Dominant front court, well coached. I think that Grand Canyon is definitely a dangerous 15 seed. Excuse me, what seed are they?
15,
yes.
Wow. Okay, so let's see how long we can talk about it. And by the way, you guys, those of you watching now, you see Max just instantly break down these games. Max and I will have every single game broken down together, and you'll be able to find them on YouTube over the next 48 hours. Every single game, all 34 of them, the play-ins, or should I say 36 of them, the 4 play-ins, and then the 32 first round games. Wow, what so exciting, Max. Let's so here we go. We're going to have questions coming in. One thing that how much we love our guy Dennis Garcia. First thing Dennis says is Iowa doesn't make it out of opening weekend. What do you think of that?
I think it's very plausible. Like we said, any team that can play good defense against Iowa and go bucket for bucket with them, Grand Canyon is a team that plays very good defense. They have very good guard play. I think that when you look at Javon Blackshear, he's going to be critical. And Alessandro Levo and Ashton Midgard, this is an opportunity for them to expose a lack of depth front court. Get Luka Garza in foul trouble. We've seen it happen already. I think that this is a game plan that Coach Drew can plan beautifully and have the first shocker of the tournament.
We talk about the Cinderella teams seeded 12th and lower. Do any of these jump out as a possibility for you?
I actually don't have I need a visual to be quite quite frank with you. I just don't have one right now of the actual bracket.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to find it.
I should have taken a picture of it. Should have taken a picture of it. So first off, you like Norfolk to come out of that 6th.
No, I like App State.
You like App State? Okay, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah.
App State. So they were 16. Then we had Grand Canyon at 15. And I'm just going off the top of my head. So then we had Eastern Washington at 14.
Yeah, I don't know if Eastern Washington's winning, but I think that when you see some of these numbers, if you're seeing anywhere between like a 10.5 to like a 14 or 15.5, there's going to be value on these conference tournament champions, at least in the first half. I just think that there's a lot more parity this year. And I think that with COVID, all these teams have had to send in that they've met their requirements to play in the tournament. And I wonder if they're actually going to be able to do so. We don't know for sure that Virginia is going to play. We don't know that Virginia is going to be at full health. So Virginia is someone that definitely has to be aware that they're up for an upset. So Ohio, that's definitely a team that I think that is capable of.
And then we have the 11 seed playing game that you were very excited to see Drake involved in.
Yeah, listen, I think that without Roman, Penn, and Hemphill for Drake, it definitely makes me like them a less. But with Joseph Yusufu, he's a guy that has been waiting in the wing, and he can give you 35 points in a game. And if he does that, listen, then Drake's going to be able to win. Simple as that. I just think that Wichita State is going to come out better prepared, more efficient, and win that game.
Wow, this is wildly, wildly exciting. So first glance, and I know we don't have it up, so we're going to have to repeat, stuff like that. We have South Region coming up. So South Region coming up right now. Baylor is the 1 seed in the South going up against Hartford.
Yeah, it all depends on the number, but if I see something in the 20s with Hartford, I'm going to have to take it.
North Carolina, the 8th seed. Ooh, that's going to be a North Carolina Baylor matchup in the second round, possibly. North Carolina, the 8th seed, going up first round against Wisconsin. Woohoo!
Sorry to my freaking my mentor, my freaking role model, the godfather of volume, but Wisconsin's going down. North Carolina, baby.
Villanova, the 5 seed. Villanova going up against, look, we can tell by the chat, Winthrop.
Damn, Villanova better be on upset alert because the Winthrop Eagles, they may be coming through your kitchen.
Oh, wow, Villanova, Winthrop. Okay, we have Purdue as the 4th seed here. Malik, what's happening? So great to see everybody. Dennis Garcia says Whiskey and Winthrop both winning. Purdue, North Texas, Max.
Yeah, I would definitely say that North Texas is probably going to win. That defensive style inside with the big man down low, Zach Simmons. Yeah, I'm not messing with that North Texas Mean Green team again.
6th seed Texas Tech going up against Utah State.
Yeah, Texas Tech's going to go through them. Yeah, I'm not that impressed with Utah State and their guard play. Yeah, they're great inside, but
and swerving thinking because Utah State getting the 11th seed that Syracuse not getting in.
I hope not, because I'd rather see my East Coast schools than my West Coast schools in there. That's for sure.
The 3rd seed Arkansas going up against. Arkansas doing a little dance, a little socially distanced dance.
Yeah, that's a bad matchup.
Nice to be live, man.
That's a bad matchup.
Got a couple beverages on the go. Feels good to be Arkansas Colgate, Max.
Yeah, that's a bad matchup for Arkansas. For Colgate. That's a bad matchup for them. But it all depends on the number. At first glance, that's an Arkansas spot for me.
Number 7 seed Florida. Trey Mann really, really picked this team up this year. After Keontae Johnson had the heart scare. And going up against Virginia Tech. Florida, Virginia Tech, Max.
Yeah, I think that Virginia Tech's going to find it. I think that all this fucking hoorah with the awards probably got to their head. They're worried about winning the big tournament. They weren't worried about winning the ACC tournament. I'm just not a fan of Florida. I don't like their offense. They may have good guard play recently, but I've seen it be inconsistent at times this year.
Ohio State, the 2nd seed. Ohio State going up against the chat saying Oral Roberts.
Yeah, it's Oral Roberts.
Okay.
I think that with Oral Roberts, if they can score off the pick and roll with frickin' O'Banner and Max Abamis, then they're going to be able to stay in with Ohio State, at least in the first half. I don't know if they're able to adjust to the second half defensive adjustments Chris Holtman will make, but at first glance, I got to look at an over because it's Oral Roberts, and you're not going to see a number in the 160s. If you see a number like in the 147 to 154 range, that will definitely be something I'm going to be looking at to take an over with.
And we will be breaking down these games, each individual game, Max and I, over the next 48 hours for all of you guys. And Max coming off now, Max doesn't feel like it's as spectacular as I do. And a lot of shows won't track their records because there is a high chance that it will not be positive units, and you'll have to sit there in your losses. And so most shows don't want to have honesty, and most, especially touts, don't want to have any honesty. But Max, with only official legal sportsbook lines, not the offshore lines, that made it even more difficult, comes into the tourney 254 and 217, up just over 18 units. ROI over 3.7%, average line minus 109. So, Max, I know that you don't feel like it was as spectacular as we do from the outside, but great work.
If I didn't have an 11-unit losing day, then yeah, I'd be okay with it. But at this point, it's a new season. We're all about freaking getting those winners today, tomorrow, the next day, and let's just freaking focus on that. I think that's what's going to happen. Make some money, enjoy some games, and definitely see some goddamn madness, because there's going to be. You best be prepared, because I am the cupcake master. I am the king of cupcakes.
You are.
And I got 5 bougie rolling pin cupcakes. Oh, diabetes in some plastic. And of course, Jim, I got my backups for when the bougie ones are done. I got my Hostess, a little more affordable, probably about 75% less, but equally tasty.
Sure.
And comes in plastic that kills our environment.
Oh. You don't want to bring Sonny Vega in the house as well. My man, Sonny Vega. We got Jansen saying, where's the meetup, Jimmy? We're going to have them. Right now, we are dealing with this fucking pandemic that's just been killing us. But as soon as we can, Jansen, we'll be meeting up for sure. And even with the pandemic, we'll see if we can figure something out. I have a tall boy of Keith's here in my Black Cup. People asking about what drinks we have. Here I have a little Canadian Club and Coke here. My other cup of Coke. We have here a Nuke Worker says got some ultra tall boys happening. And they're asking, RMK's asking, what is the beverage in Max's mug?
Guys, like we're transparent with my record, I'm drinking my normal drink. Just
apple
in
juice
a different mug. Apple juice and water. Not getting drunk. Come on. You know what's going to happen then? I'm going to see 3 ladies of the night in one day. We're going to be like, oh my God, where did my money go?
Midwest region coming up. Midwest region. It's not just apple juice and water. He cuts it up, and he cuts it up. Yeah. And he can't help but cut nice shit up. Okay, Illinois Drexel.
Illinois Drexel, I think that Drexel had a good run getting here, but this is where it ends. Yeah, watch out. Dangerous freaking matchup with Illinois. Illinois will probably be a heavy favorite, but I think that they come out strong.
Loyola Chicago, the 8th seed in the Midwest, going up against? Oh, they're happy.
Going up against Georgia Tech.
Ooh.
That's a tough matchup for Georgia Tech, more so than Loyola. Loyola has a deep bench, and I think with their ability to guard on the perimeter, It's going to be a real good matchup, with Moses Wright against Krutwig. But I think Chicago comes out.
Tennessee, the 5th seed, Max, going up against Oregon State.
Yeah, Tennessee in that spot. I don't care if they can't find their offense. Their defense will lock down the freaking Beavers. Pac-12 basketball is it's like FCS football. So,
yeah. Oklahoma State, the 4th seed. They're a good ball club. Going up against
Liberty.
What do you think of that matchup?
Jim, I'm a Liberty guy. Liberty's pulling off the upset, boys.
Jesus.
Look for an outright winner. Liberty's going to win. They hit threes at 44%. They play pack line defense. Kyle Rote, Blake Preston down low. They're going to have their way.
Jesus. Oof. San Diego State is the 6th seed.
Syracuse. Get in there, Syracuse.
Did they?
I love it.
Did they get in? Oh, yeah. San Diego State, Syracuse. Okay, first take.
Listen, Quincy Greer, fucking magnificent player out of the fucking province of Quebec that is part of Canada for everybody that is wondering. They pretend that they're not. I think Syracuse can freaking pull up maybe a spread win, but they're not beating SDSU.
Interesting. Okay. Wow, that's going to be a fun game. All right.
Yeah, Oregon State may be the hottest team in the country, Malik, but they won't be hot when they come out of that volunteer state. They're going to drink that Jack Daniels whiskey, wake up with piss all over themselves.
Princeton City says only 2 teams matter. Michigan and Zags. We have next up Morehead State against West Virginia. First take.
Dangerous team in Morehead State with Johnny Broom and the Coopers. I'd be worried if I'm Bob Huggins. You know, his team has just not played well. We've been the victim of their bullshit. So Morehead.
Clemson gets the 7 seed. Clemson, Rutgers.
Yeah, that's going to be a fucking look at the under, that's for sure. But I think that Clemson's going to be able to take it in there. They're just going to need some 3-point shooting, and they're going to need Amir Sims to have a big game.
The number 2 seed, Houston. Wow, are they good? Going up against the 15 seed,
Cleveland State.
Ooh, man, what a run. What a change in this basketball team. Cleveland State, Houston, first take.
Yeah, I think that with Cleveland State, you know, the fact that they got here with Dennis Gates is absolutely fantastic. I think that they definitely have that Cinderella feel to them. I just think that they got matched up in the worst fucking matchup possible. I don't think you're going through Houston. You may be able to cover the spread, but I don't think you're beating them outright.
Very, 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 very exciting. Okay, we are halfway through our March Madness selection show, and at the
Jim, it's definitely important to note that we're talking about winners right now. We see lines, then this conversation changes drastically.
Definitely. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, no, this is just first take. Yeah, absolutely. Just first takes here. I cannot wait to watch Syracuse against the Aztecs. I cannot wait.
I can't wait to see the totals on that game, because we know Syracuse is a hot 3-point shooting team. We know that SDSU can get hot from 3. They got 5 or 6 different guards that can step up and support Matt Mitchell and Jordan Shackle in every game. It's going to be about what you get from the front court in Tomas and Mensah. I think that Syracuse definitely has some matchup advantages, and if the zone is effective, it's not something that SDSU sees a whole bunch in the Mountain West.
Oh, JJB in the house says nothing like having the tournament in Indy. I'll be down there for 2 games this weekend. You can legally bet on games. It's not Vegas, but it's good enough.
I live in Canada, so I got ProLine at the local convenience store, a local or an online book. So I'll be happy to place a ticket, give my money, and get my money at the same spot anywhere.
Yeah, and it's what's coming. It's coming. I just it sucks that isn't here yet because we have like Windsor, like that Caesars Casino in Windsor could be just popping if we
Well,
had.
I can move there.
Well, I've actually pitched it to my girl moving to Windsor because both Windsor and Niagara Falls, I can't pay these Toronto prices, but Windsor and Niagara Falls, you got Buffalo, Detroit right across the street. Okay, we have questions coming in, and feel free to throw questions at us. First from our man Slats45 says, Max, been tailing your Yukon. How far do you think they can go?
I think that as long as Book's healthy, we can go pretty far. It's going to depend on the matchup. I prefer to be a 7 than an 8 or a 9, just because then we don't have to see one of the top 1 seeds. But I do think that if we had to match up, let's say against like Alabama in the second round, we could beat them. And obviously it'd be tough, but I'd be going with UConn. Alabama's more of a football love for me because Nick Saban's the coach, but UConn it runs through my bloodstream, So.
I came so close to taking the Warriors on the money line today, but whatever, I'll take the win. Okay, sorry. Back here, we have more questions for you. Logan Wilhelm, how about those Razorbacks? How far do you think they can make it?
Listen, it all depends on matchups with Arkansas. Arkansas has to go up against a team that isn't going to be over physical with them, and they have a good matchup with a team like Colgate. They do have the guard length to guard most effective and potent offenses. They just got to really decide, are they going to play fast? Are they going to play slow? I think they're best when they're playing fast and they're playing in a high possession type game, but apparently the coaching staff thinks otherwise.
Hoops 590, Max, what underdog seed stands out right now as a possible money line upset?
Yeah, I think
you can take a second to put that together, but take a second because we have the East region being announced right now. First off, the 1 seed Michigan going up against either Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern. What do you think about that battle of 16 seeds?
Yeah, I think that Mount St. Mary's is the spot. I'm just impressed with the way that they were able to shut down some very high potent offenses in their conference. I think that Texas Southern in the step up in class gets exposed.
That's going to be a really, really fun one. Okay, next up, we have LSU as the 8th seed. So that sets up an LSU-Michigan second round battle. What's your first instinct when you hear LSU-Michigan?
Oh, it's LSU St. Bonaventure, my friend.
I know, but so the Bonnies could easily beat LSU is what you're saying.
Oh, Bonnies are going to beat LSU, brother.
Wow.
Bonnies are going to beat LSU. Just because those motherfuckers play in the SEC does not mean shit. This is not football. We got O'Shawn O'Shooney. We got the fucking trio of guards. We got the fucking scheme. We're running through LSU like I run through a lady the night at a cat house.
I was saying LSU, Michigan, because I hadn't seen the 9 seed yet. But then St. Bonaventure came in. Okay, we have the 5 seed Colorado going up against Georgetown.
Yeah, Georgetown for me in that spot.
Oh my God, it's shaping up to be such a fun.
I try not to mess with Pac-12 schools, Obviously, if they got a Canadian or two, I gotta pay attention. But Georgetown's Javon Blair, Toronto, Ontario's own. Yeah, 6 is coming home.
We have Florida State, 4th seed here. Big Ragoo's Florida State going up against UNC Greensboro.
Yeah, I think that with UNC Greensboro, if they can score inside the arc, then they're going to be able to have some success. But if they're forced out to the perimeter and forced to be a jump shooting team, then they're going to be going down early.
BYU getting the 6th seed. BYU going up against
Michigan State or UCLA.
Wow. What do you think
I
of that
don't really
matchup?
know what to do on that matchup. Because of my hate for the Pac-12, I would probably just take Michigan State.
Wow. Dennis Garcia says winner of Sparty UCLA beats BYU. Do you agree?
I think that Michigan State can, but to be quite frank, I don't want to give any credit to any Pac-12 program, so I'm not going to.
That's agreed by our Tom and Tom. Number 3 seed Texas.
Against Abilene Christian.
What do you think?
Listen, I think that Texas is going to win the game. I just want to see a number. If I see a number north of 17.5, I'll have to look at Abilene. Texas has definitely been dangerous when it comes to covering. Okay, here's the big one, Jim.
UConn, 7th seed locked in, and Arthur Meade Jr. telling us that it's Maryland.
You know what's going to happen to the Terps? They're going downtown. They're going to play some golf. They're going to be learning how to do this sport that we play in Canada called curling. Because they aren't advancing to the second round past my Huskies.
Alabama locked in.
Damn it. Alabama and Iona, Jim.
So that means UConn, Alabama in the second round possibly. What do you think of Alabama, Iona?
I think Alabama's rolling through it. Iona can bring whatever defense they want, but I just don't think that even if Pitino's coaching this team, that they have the talent and the guard play and the tempo to be able to stop Alabama on one end and score on them on the other. I have to look at Alabama to keep on rolling until they play my UConn Huskies.
And talk to us about that second round game, UConn, Alabama.
Listen, I think with UConn, they have to be able to match defensively, and I think that on the perimeter they can do that. Can they get the kind of offensive rebounds that they need to against this front court? And can they stop Herb Jones? Herb Jones has shown that this is his team now. John Petty's been struggling all year. His three-point shot is off. The only thing that you can hope for in a game when you're UConn is hoping that John Petty hits a lot of threes, shoots a lot of threes, and misses them. I just think that it's going to come down to the performance that day. If James gives us 30 points, if we get Sonogo and Andre Jackson to be contributing in the intangible area, not necessarily on the stat sheet, sky's the limit for this UConn team. This feels like 2011, that type of freaking team. Obviously, they didn't go through the same way, but we got a guy that's coming back from injury. He's an NBA player, and the reality is we do well in first years back in the conference.
Max, who got robbed the most? First 4 out: Louisville, Colorado State, St. Louis, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss for sure. Definitely, I talked about why I didn't like St. Louis. Colorado State, listen, I know that there's a lot of people in social media that want Colorado State in this tournament, but it doesn't do anything for me either way. They're not an exciting program, in my opinion, and basketball is best on the East Coast, in the Midwest. So I'm one of these people that, unfortunately, am not the biggest supporter of West Coast teams. Yeah, no Duke yet. If I see Duke in this tournament, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Absolutely go insane, Jim. Like, I'm a little insane already, but I'll go insane.
Dennis says we didn't need any of those teams, none of them. God, I miss being capping with Dennis every day so much.
Like, listen, like, some of us want to go to sleep before midnight, and, like, the West Coast games don't allow us to do that. Last night I was up till like 2 a.m, and I was up watching games from 11 till 1:30, 2 o'clock. It was ridiculous.
Hoops 590 is a question, and I know you have this answer and you're excited about it. So he says, is there an NIT? You want to tell us about it?
Yes, there is. 16 teams. Obviously, we'll know what teams are participating once this is determined. And it's a great tournament because, like we see every year with the NIT, teams that go there that really want to be in the NCAAs usually provide some betting value for us. And I'm hoping that this year is no exception. So
Nilo saying first 4, Max likes App State and Drake.
See, Nilo, this is the problem with Nilo, Jim. We love Nilo. We know Nilo. We've shook his hand. We know his face. But the guy walks into the ring every time he fucking takes a step. Like, settle down, Nilo. We don't even have fucking lines for it, okay? It's called the first glance. Like, where the hell are my cupcakes and danishes? Like, I know your wife fucking cooks a lot, okay?
She does. She made delicious donuts the last time we all hook up. Puzzler says, Puzzler, aka Canascat, OG Lowbagger, says, any chance for more frequent live shows? I hope so. And the more people we have watching this one, supporting this one, then the more validity asking for more, demanding more gets. And Max wants them. Max wants to be going. So it's up. If you guys really demand it, then we can go to odds and say, look, the people have spoken. But Max wants to do live shows throughout the tournament. So we just need the people to speak and be loud. Our guys. All right, Max. Oof. So I don't have I should see if I can get everything in front of me.
Yeah, I got everything in front of me right now. Also.
What did you do? What site did you go to get that?
CBSSports.com. They have the live bracket.
Okay, I'm going to pull this up. So looking at CBSSports.com. Okay, looking at this bracket right now, who do you see as the most vulnerable high seeds?
I think that Villanova as a 5, they're vulnerable. I think that Purdue is vulnerable as a 4. I think that Iowa's vulnerable as a 2. Do we get another bracket exposed? Yeah, that's all that I have right now.
Oh, beautiful. I got the live bracket too. Okay, nice.
Okay, so hold on. Now I have the bottom half. I think that Georgetown is possible. Listen, UNC Greensboro last year with their front court with James Dickey, Kyron Galloway, I like a lot better than Abdul Salam and Hayden Corbel. So not going to sell me on that one. Morehead State could definitely surprise West Virginia. Liberty, I think, could beat Oklahoma State straight up. I'm not just trying to be a Liberty homer. In my opinion, Oregon State, no, sorry.
Okay.
I'm not buying the fucking house on that.
So we've got everything up. So we don't need their CBS show up anymore, right? We can start just – okay, let's cut that off. Okay, we have everything up. So we've had Max do a once-over on all the games. So he's looked at them. He's given us a once-over. Now he's had 25 minutes to think about it. Max, can we go over it one more time?
Yeah, let's go over it.
One more time. Okay, we're going to start with the West. And also, if you guys have questions, now's the time. Fire them out. Okay, we're going to start with the West. So Norfolk, App State, you like App State going through to play Gonzaga?
Yeah, I think that with App State, you have to look at it from this perspective. Who's going to have the better point guard play? We've seen Joe Bryant be good at times for this Norfolk State team, but we've also seen him struggle. And if Devontae Carter has to play a lot of freaking isolation scoring plays in the half court, I just think that App State's going to be able to shut them down defensively. They've gone up against fucking potent offenses all conference season, holding teams like South Alabama, Georgia State, Coastal Carolina to definitely respectable scoring outputs. And I just think that when you look at the conference class, the MEAC is still one conference above the SWAC in my rankings. So I've watched both these teams a good deal. And I think that with Norfolk State, if you get JJ Matthews into foul trouble early, they're vulnerable down low and they're vulnerable on the glass.
Okay, well, we are looking at the West right now. A question from Swervin. Does Gonzaga lose, and to who? Who is capable in this Western bracket to knock out Gonzaga?
Well, I think that the one that I would have to go with is Creighton, because we've already seen Gonzaga versus Virginia, and Virginia couldn't do shit to them. But in my opinion, I don't really think that there is a team that can beat them in this bracket. They can't beat Iowa. We already saw that happen. Oregon, no way they can freaking contain them at 3 levels. If Corey Kispert isn't beating you from 3, Jalen Suggs and Nemhard are beating you off the dribble, and if neither of that's working, Drew Timmy's beating you down low. I don't see a team in this bracket that could beat them.
Okay, Max, Oklahoma, Missouri.
Oklahoma, Missouri. Listen, Oklahoma definitely has to take advantage of a team that I think has fallen off a little. We haven't seen the quality that you expected out of Jeremiah Tillman with his classmanship. I think that with outside of Drew Smith, like Xavier Pinson looks good on the stat sheet, on the fucking team stats. But when you watch the execution in games like you just watched against Arkansas, it just doesn't do it for me. If they were playing better at this time, I think that they would be a good matchup. But if I see Oklahoma at like 2.5 or 3.5, I'm going to be inclined to take them.
Creighton, UC Santa Barbara.
Listen, like I said, you see a certain total, I'm going to be looking over. I think that with Creighton, with their ball moving from side to side in the half court, they're always going to get a good shot, even if it takes them a little longer using that shot clock. If they're hitting threes, they're going to be tough. But with UC Santa Barbara, with Ja'Cory McLaughlin, with freaking Ajay Sani, with Amadou Sow, like there's a lot of weapons for this UC Santa Barbara team, and a lot of people aren't going to know the quality that they are. For them to handle UC Irvine and that front court last night was definitely a sign of improvement with this team. So it's really going to be about the number that you see on the spread. If I see a double-digit number, I'm going to have to take Santa Barbara.
We are going to keep going through, but questions are coming in. Anytime you guys drop a question in the chat, we'll throw it to our expert, Maxwell Smart. From Hoops590 says, do you think Mizzou relies too much on outside shooting?
I think that it seems like they rely on 3-point shooting, but I think that they just have to take 3-point shots out of necessity because they don't find that shot in the half court often enough inside the arc. I think that obviously with a team like Missouri, you got to expect that they want those high percentage looks more often. But when I watch their games, the thing that rings out and that I always note is that they're taking 3-point shots deep in shot clocks and forced, not out of their own choice. So I'm worried about Oklahoma being able to stymie them. And listen, if Umaja Gibson gets hot, and this is why he went to Oklahoma for this opportunity to play in this tournament, it's a dangerous team that you have to come back against.
We got StreamYard messing with us a little bit. I'm going to pull Max out and bring him back in because I see him clear down here. And that's a little better. We lost him again. Man, why? Okay. Pull him out one more time. Get him back in. There. Okay. Well, I don't know why it's not. Okay, let's keep rolling. We're going to move on to the next spot here, Max. The next spot, Virginia, the 4 seed going up against Ohio Bobcats.
All right, so I think that with Virginia, the thing is going to be, do we get the information on who's available, who's affected by the COVID, and who's not? I think that with this Ohio team, with their point guard play from Sears and Jason Preston, they have upset freaking ability all over them. They played in a tough conference. They have good freaking front court scoring. Can they stop Sam Hauser and Trey Murphy on the 3-point line? I think so.
Very, very interesting. It does feel like a spot where upset is written all over it.
Yeah, 12 to 15s are dangerous in this tournament, Jim. They always have been, and it definitely remains it definitely is remaining the same this year. That's for sure.
All right, let's keep rolling. I'm gonna try to get Max in that one more time, see if because he's clear below. He should be clear there, but. Hopefully it'll fix itself. Next up, very exciting playing game, Wichita State, Drake.
With Wichita and Drake, listen, Drake definitely, if they're healthy, probably the better spot. But with Wichita, I think that losing definitely hurt them in the semifinals. And I think that you're going to get a better performance from Tyson Etienne, from Alterique Gilbert, more aggressive, more free throws, more dribble penetration. It seemed like they were becoming a little 3-point happy. And when you don't get off to a good start, you're always going to be in trouble. I think that with this tournament, you see them in a better position. And I think that without Drake having their full complement of Northwest Indiana recruits, they're going to be going down.
All right, let's keep rolling. Max, we still have you blurry. Do you have any idea what we can do to fix this? I've been pulling you in and out, or should I keep doing that?
Well, when I'm looking at the screen, it's not blurry.
Okay. Okay,
So
well, let's...
it's probably just me moving and the camera's adjusting.
No, you moved before and the camera's fine. It's just, I think it's a StreamYard issue right now. That looks a little clear. Okay. Okay, there we go. We got you back in action. Okay. Next up, Max. Oh, so do you think the winner of that playing game can give USC trouble?
I do not think that USC is going to have trouble with their defensive efficiency, their defensive tempo. It's really hard to beat them and really hard to speed them up. So if you have to play a slow down game against USC with the Mobleys, who are probably one of the best front court tandems in the nation, it's going to be hard to beat them. That's for sure.
Eastern Washington, we finally get our Eagles in. Kansas, Eastern Washington. What do you think, Max?
With Kansas, Eastern Washington, I like Eastern Washington because of the development of Mike Meadows. Now you've seen Jacob Davison and Tyler Robinson coming off the bench, and I think that just adds to the layers of offense that you can get from this Eastern Washington team. If they can defend and they don't get down early, I think that they have enough game, enough experience, and enough offensive balance to be able to stay in this game. Listen, you see a lot of these double-digit dogs with these conference tournament champions. It's hard to freaking go against them when you've been watching the body of work and the way that they've been playing against their own competition. But we do remember Eastern Washington did play highly competitively in the non-conference before they got the COVID shutdown.
Number 7 seed Oregon versus number 10 seed VCU.
Yeah, listen, I think that Oregon, even though they're a Pac-12 school and the conference sucks a bag of horsecock, I do think that Oregon with Chris Duarte, with Eugene Amori, with guys like Eric Williams are going to be able to get through. VCU had a great run this year. I think that there was definitely much lower expectations and they exceeded it. And you got to thank that to Ace Baldwin's development as a freshman point guard, Vince Williams, and of course Bones Highland. But I think that the train to the Cinderella store stops suddenly and they get jolted off, and Oregon quack, quack, quack.
Ooh, exciting. We have questions coming in that are, not within conference, some of them, but I'm going to just fire them out. I could just copy and paste them. I'll fire them out. Here, we have a question from Logan, Max. What do you think of Michigan State's chances to beat UCLA and potentially BYU?
I think that they definitely have a good shot to beat UCLA. What have we seen from UCLA throughout their recent tournament appearances is a lot of high expectations with a lot of high-ranked recruits and just not a lot of freaking payback. I think that with Michigan State, the amount of top 10 teams that they beat, albeit in their conference, who they have familiarity with and coaching familiarity with, it's really going to be about, can Michigan State make shots early? We've seen Michigan State in wins get off, hit some threes early, let guys like AJ Hoggard and Malik Hall get going. But if Aaron Henry doesn't have an outlier game where he scores 25 or more, Michigan State's going to have a quick freaking run in this 2021 tournament.
Max, very quickly here before we finish off this West region, question from Jansen Bonds and our buddy says, what's the status on book night for UConn?
I don't know right now, but I'm not worried about it. This is why he came back to school. He could have been drafted already. He's going to play unless there's a bone or a tear that would be detrimental to his future career earnings.
Number 2, Iowa versus number 15, Grand Canyon to close up the region.
Yeah, I think that Grand Canyon definitely has the spotlight on them. Can they score with Iowa is the question. I think that when you look at guys like Oscar Freire, Javon Blackshear, when you look at the front court that they have with Midgard and Lever, they have the pieces and the components to beat Iowa. You need strong defense, you need strong front court, and you need a back court that can score on the interior and from the outside. I think that Grand Canyon having this coaching change from Coach Marley to Coach Drew is what can put them over. and be the biggest shocker of the first round. I think that Grand Canyon as a double-digit dog, even down to like 7 or 8.5, would definitely interest me. But I got to run the numbers, of course.
Max, let's take a look at this West region. Would you say we're going to talk about your and I know this is first takes, and after we break down all the games individually, which we will do, which will be out on our odds.com YouTube page, within the next 24 to 48 hours. Are there any Cinderella seeds you see? It sounds like Grand Canyon. Is there more than that here in the West region?
I don't really think Grand Canyon's a Cinderella. I think Grand Canyon has a good first-round matchup that they can surprise us. I think that if you want to see a Cinderella, I think that you have to look at Loyola Chicago. But for them to get through Illinois is just going to be tough. It's just going to be tough. I don't want to discount Georgia Tech and how well Georgia Tech's been playing. But in my opinion, Georgia Tech's going to be a favorite in this game. And that makes me like Loyola Chicago that much more. I just love how Loyola can really limit the possessions and can keep you under 50. Can they do it against an ACC team and then against a Big Ten team? Well, that remains to be seen. But I think that this is a better team than the freaking Cinderella team that they had before. So,
okay, I'm going to start copying and pasting the questions that aren't to do with the bracket that we are talking about, at the time. And we are moving on to the East bracket right now. So anytime anybody wants to drop a question in here that's not related to the bracket, I'll just copy and paste it and we will get to it. But we're moving on to the East bracket. So I'm going to let my man Logan, by the way, my guy Vincente Gigante in the house. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Here we go with the East. We're going to let Logan roll us in. We miss you, Prince of the City. Logan says, and to begin our breakdown of the Eastern bracket, are Michigan frauds?
I won't say that they're frauds, but I do think that they're going to have some tougher games and some closer games than they would with Isaiah Livers. I think that with Isaiah Livers, the difference is clear. We've seen the stat. We've seen it with the visual test. The point per game, the point per possession is down without Isaiah Livers in the lineup. So I do think that they can get through the first round. But if they play my Bonnies can upset them.
Mount St. Mary, Texas Southern, who do you think gets to play Michigan?
I think Mount St. Mary does. I think that defense wins more often than not, especially this time of year. And we've seen Mount St. Mary hit some threes. If we see Mezzi Offram at 6'8" go into the paint and hit the mid-range jumper like he did in the NEC final, that's an element to the offense that you've only seen a couple times this year. And against a tempo team like Texas Southern, that first off, you cannot be secure when you have a lead. And if you fall behind, you got to change up what's not working ASAP. Otherwise, you're going to be a victim like Prairie View was in the SWAC final. I think with Michael Weathers going up against Damian Chong, I think that obviously there's a height disadvantage for Damian Chong, but he's so quick. He's able to get his shot and three-point shot up and over bigger guards. I got to look at the Mount there.
What an impressive season for the Mount. They lose their leading scorer and star. Well, I mean, I know that Damian Chung-Lee has been their most legitimate, most valuable player over the last couple of years. But were you impressed that they were able to gather their composure, gather their shit after losing their leading scorer?
Well, I was really impressed with just Damian Chong's ability to control this offense, to run this defense, to be the vocal leader. And to be brutally honest, I definitely thought that this was possible only because if you know the story behind Damian Chung-Hui, then you understand his drive and motivation to win. His father took a bullet, lost his ability to walk, and Damian would have to be the father in that relationship. They lost their residence, had to move to a building that they lived on the third floor. Damian would carry him up and down those flights of stairs every day, multiple times a day. He is built with the character that you see in very few collegiate athletes and very few young men. And after learning about this story, seeing the success that this team has had makes sense. They're well coached and they're strong human beings. So I know it's corny to say that, but
no, it does not corny.
Really has an impact on collegiate basketball and performance, in my opinion.
No, I think that's not corny at all. That's an incredible story that I didn't know about Damien Tronqui. And he doesn't leave the floor. He plays all 40 minutes every game. He's spectacular. Okay. Okay, we have I'm just going to copy and paste that question, Kanaskat, and I'll keep doing that just so we can keep, because we'd like to be here for another 30 minutes breaking this down. And, we could easily be here all night. Next up, Max, LSU, St. Bonaventure. Tell us why you like the St. Bonnies to get past this very dangerous, no depth, but very dangerous top 4 scorers on LSU.
I think that with LSU, they definitely have some advantages if they can expose St. Bonaventure's lack of depth. But I do think that with this Bonnie team, if we have to go to Eddie Creel, if we have to go to Jalen Shaw, I do think that they are going to be able to maintain the standard and quality. I think that with LSU, the biggest issue is, can you stop Cam Thomas? Cam Thomas is the guy. Obviously, we saw Javonte Smart make some really big shots in that game against Alabama today. But I think that when you look at St. Bonaventure, they're playing with a chip on the shoulder. They win with defense. And Alabama wants to be the best defensive team, but the Bonnies, they preach and practice and live that life of defense. I think that the key is with Oshuni staying on the floor, staying impactful. He's going up against a much stronger front court, so that will be a test. But as long as the Bonnies can keep it close, they got a shot to win this game. So this is going to be a spot where LSU is probably going to take some money. People are going to be like, yeah, this is a big boy versus a little boy. Big boy's going to win. No. Not so motherfucking fast. Have yourself a Subway sandwich and drink a goddamn Coke because the Bonnies are going through.
We move on to a very interesting battle here. A lot of people talking upset. Number 5 seed Colorado against upstart. Man, these guys have come flying late in the season. Patrick Ewing controlled number 12 Georgetown.
Listen, Colorado is a respectable team. They're a quality team. You don't win 20-plus games with the quality of Deshaun Schwartz and McKinley Wright and company and not get to this tournament, get that seed out of freaking nothing. But I think that with Georgetown, hot teams are hot teams. It's all about the number. Georgetown has the pieces to win this game. I'm sorry. They play in a better conference. So the team that finishes 6th or 7th in the Big East is definitely a team that can beat one of the top 3 teams in the Pac-12. We've already seen how the Pac-12 matches up against the Big East previously in the non-conference. USC came to UConn. What happened? So all right. I just think that with this Georgetown team, they have the front court piece in Wahab. They have the freaking backcourt scoring in Javon Blair. He can come off the bench. Dante Harris has emerged as a point guard that is capable of making the right decisions in the critical moments. And most importantly, guys, with Georgetown, they hit their free throws at the end of games. Okay? The guards hit their free throws. That's something that you need. So I'll be looking at Georgetown if I see the right number, but they are definitely a dangerous 12 seed.
Okay, I'm copying and pasting all of these questions. Next up, Florida State, UNC, Greensboro.
Listen, I think that Florida State, from a size perspective, if they have Koprivica healthy, we know that his thumb definitely was acting up in the Georgia Tech game. So it'll be interesting to see what his status is. But with UNC Greensboro, like I said, if you can push them out and make them a jump shooting team, with the exception of Keyshawn Langley, you could beat them. But if freaking Isaiah Miller is going to be able to get to the rim whenever he wants and he's going to be able to score and keep this game close, Florida State's going to be in a fight, I don't think that Florida State's going to lose, but I definitely think that they're going to have to earn this win. It's not going to be a cupcake.
Now we have that game we've already spoken about just about 15 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, Michigan State, UCLA. So quickly, who do you think wins that and faces BYU, and how do you think that breakdown?
Yeah, I already said Michigan State. I'm not backing another Pac-12 school. So,
and what do you think Michigan State can do against BYU?
Listen, if you can stop BYU from hitting perimeter shots and you have the front court to stop them from abusing you inside, yeah, I think that you can. I think that defensively, Michigan State definitely ticks a lot more boxes off than BYU do. I'm not a fan of Matt Arms, but I do think that Mark Pope is a good coach. I think that this is a team that definitely is sliding under the scale, even at a 6th seed. But Michigan State, coming into this year, we had them ranked a lot higher, and it probably would have been flipped. So I'll see when the number comes out.
Next up, Texas, Abilene Christian.
Yeah, I think that with Abilene Christian, the key is definitely going to be, can you hit some threes early? Can you get your offense going? We've seen in games against stiffer competition that they've been able to play well for 20 minutes and then fold like a folding chair. I think that with guys like Clay Gaiman, you're going to need him to be effective offensively. I think that with Abilene Christian, they shoot a lot of threes. If they can make them, then they can stay with Texas. But I'm not really too impressed to take Texas at a big number just because Texas has had trouble covering these. Although you are taking a step down in competition, you have to factor in the fact that it is interstate battle. It is a school that definitely has come out of a conference that's knocked off bigger competition before. Southland is the conference that Stephen F. Austin's in, so can't put it past them. But I think that Texas does find a way to advance.
Connecticut, Maryland.
Connecticut. I don't even give a shit what the number is. I don't care about nothing. I'm on Connecticut.
And how do you think they shape up? Well, do you think Iona? What's your first guess on the spread there? Is it 15 plus?
What, with Connecticut and Maryland?
No, Alabama, Iona.
Oh, Alabama, Iona. Alabama's speed, Alabama's 3-point shooting or lack thereof. I'd probably say that a 145 total and probably a 13.5 spread for Alabama.
And when you hear that number, what is your instinct?
To take Alabama.
And then Connecticut, Alabama, you think Connecticut has a shot?
Yeah, I think Connecticut could beat Alabama. But, Jim, you're asking a diehard Connecticut fan, can his team advance?
But you're also a gambler who likes money more than anything else.
I know, but I make enough money that I can afford to lose some of my teams if I have to.
Okay. So that is the West bracket and the East bracket. We are going to move on, and keep your questions coming because I have been copying and pasting them like old times. I was always good at copying and pasting. Okay, Max, we head over to the South. Baylor, Hartford.
Yeah, I think Hartford got unlucky with this matchup, but it's all about the number. If you see a 20-plus number, you're probably going to have to take Hartford. With Austin Williams and Tracy Carter, they're going to be able to make shots. It's just going to be how efficiently can they do so. And with Hunter Marks and Miroslav Staffel up front for Hartford, they're going to have their hands full, even against an undersized Baylor front court. I think that if Baylor's on their game, they win the game convincingly. But when you get past 20-point spread, that's when I'm like, yeah, I got to fucking look at the dog here.
8 seed North Carolina, 9 seed Whiskey.
Yeah, I think North Carolina wins. I know the 3-point shooting. I've bitched about it and talked shit about it, but I do think that they are playing their best basketball at the right time of the year. I think that with Wisconsin, on paper, they should be able to smash North Carolina. But if you watch Wisconsin games, they don't make shots when you need to make shots. I just can't trust that offense. And if Demetri Trice isn't going to score 28 or more, are you going to trust Nate Ruvers, who hasn't been there all year? Micah Potter's coming off the bench in that bench role to give the offense a jolt when they fucking come out slow. Still isn't fucking getting them fucking a ton of wins. So I got to look at North Carolina there.
And if North Carolina matches up against Baylor, What do you think?
If North Carolina can score,
Teams.
What?
There's such different teams, Baylor and North Carolina.
Listen, the key to fucking beating Baylor's defense is to beat them in the middle. If you can beat their defense in the middle, then you can freaking beat Baylor. It's just we haven't seen a lot of teams be able to do that. If you can spread them out, if you can fucking get to the lane frequently through the middle and not have to be resorting to the baseline or that corner three as often, yeah, you could beat Baylor, but it's a matter of being able to beat that defense early and forcing them to adjust.
Number 5, Villanova. Number 12, Winthrop.
Yeah, I think that Winthrop could win this game. I think that Villanova, without Colin Gillespie, is a much different team. When you have to rely on Jermaine Samuels and Caleb Daniels to score, and Justin Moore may have gone down with an injury also, I don't like that trio of Jeremiah Robinson Earl and the two other guys I just mentioned as much. I think that this is a Villanova team that still is a jump shot shooting team, and when the jump shot isn't dropping, they are in trouble. I think against Winthrop's physical, they're freaking deep. They have multiple guys that have different games that they can throw at you. So let's say that you aren't able to score inside against Villanova. So you bring Josh Corbin or Russell Jones off the bench, and then you got 2 3-point shooters and guys that can handle the ball. With Winthrop, they got so many unknowns that you just can't match up against them all the time. And if they find a matchup that they can exploit you with, well, that's when you're going to see them freaking really adjust their tempo, speed it up or slow it down, whatever's working.
In our chat right now, I don't mean to get giddy, but we have ex-Northeastern University star Matt Janning rolling with us. Matt, thank you for jumping in the chat. Very, very exciting. Guillermo Zertucci, Spenny Penny Bombs. You guys didn't score huge buckets in college basketball, but I am very excited to see you two as well. Okay, let's keep rolling, Max. Next up, we have number 4, Purdue against number 13, North Texas.
Yeah, I think that with North Texas, it's how do they deal with the size and physicality of Trevion Williams and Zach Edey? I think that if you can stop Purdue from throwing it down on the low block to Trev every opportunity like they did in the comeback against Ohio State that eventually, obviously, they lost, then, yeah, you're in trouble if you're North Texas. But I think with North Texas and their freaking dribble drive penetration on offense and their ability to get back and stop it on the other end is definitely going to play in their factor. I think with North Texas, this is a well-coached team with Coach McCaslin. He's been able to win at every level. He's won at the JUCO level. He's won at the D2 level. He's now gotten North Texas to a tournament in his 4th year. I think that Coach McCaslin's going to be able to get his team up for this game. It's really going to be about the line. If I see Purdue as a 7.5 point or more favorite, I'll have to be looking at North Texas. And it could be an outright upset.
We have, as I mentioned, Spenny Penny Bombs in the house. Those of you looking for an NCAA pool to enter, our Spenny Penny Bombs has a pool just for us. I will be in as well, a low bagger pool. So I'm going to pop his handle here in the chat. Anybody who wants to enter, just hit our man Spenny. Here we go. Let me make sure this pops in here very quickly. And I think that got in. Sometimes when okay, there he is. The password, beat the bookie. And there it is, at Penny G8 to connect with Spenny. A bunch of us are going to be involved in the pool. So hit Spenny. And of course, there's money up for grabs. We don't play for fun. Okay, let's keep rolling, Max. Next up,
no one thought that, Jim. No one thought that.
Okay. I'm just making sure. It was okay. Number 6 seed, Texas Tech. Number 11 seed, Utah State.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech's rolling through. I think that when you look at it, I don't like the matchup of the guards for Utah State with guys like freaking Marco Anthony, Raleigh Worcester. I think that with Texas Tech, this is a game where you see the coaching class really show itself. I think that with Justin Bean and Namus Keita, they are going to be able to get some production and they are going to be able to produce, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Texas Tech. This is a Texas Tech team that I do see making the Sweet 16. So,
I love that call. Okay, we're almost done here, the South, and then we're going to hit the Midwest, and then some questions, and we're going to close up shop. So if you have questions, get them in quick, because we've been here since 6, and Max is firing in incredible fashion, but we don't want to have him here too long. And also, he needs to prep, because we start shooting our games tomorrow, and we'll have all 36 games broken down on the odds.com YouTube page in the next 24 hours. Max, number 3 ranked Arkansas up against Colgate.
Yeah, I think that this is a spot where Colgate just gets a bad matchup. I think that against Arkansas, they do have the size. They can go big and they can go small against you. I think that against the guard play, well, Jordan Burns is a fantastic performer in these types of games. I think he averages close to 25 points in conference championship or NCAA tournament games, but his teams are 2-3 in those games. I think that with Arkansas, they are definitely going to be able to decide what tempo they want. When they do it, I think that they are going to really put Colgate on their heels. And if Colgate doesn't make shots early, this could get ugly fast. We've seen Arkansas be able to put it on you. And with Colgate, listen, I like them. They're from my favorite conference. I am the Patriot League governor.
You are.
But I don't like the matchup for them.
Number 7 seed Florida, number 10 seed Virginia Tech. Very interesting match.
Yeah, I think that Virginia Tech's going to win the game. I don't like what Florida has going on. I think that you take Keontae Johnson out of the lineup. I think it makes a big difference. I think that freaking Justin Mutz and Keve Aluma are going to be able to do some work against this Florida front court. Don't get me wrong, Anthony Georgie and Ruzetnesov, like, they're decent players, and Colin Castleton, but against the physicality and strength that you're going to see from this Virginia Tech front court, it's really going to be about what kind of three-point shooting they get. If Jalen Cone and Tyrese Radford and company are able to contribute, then yeah, for sure. But this is a Virginia Tech team that's definitely on the rise. I'm going to like them even more next year when they have Storm Murphy in the lineup, but I think that they're getting through Florida State and they're going to end up losing in the second round.
Next up, we have number 2, Ohio State versus number 15, Oral Roberts.
Yeah, I think that with Oral Roberts, I've already said it already, if they can score off the pick and roll with Obamas and Kevin O'Banner, then they should be able to stay in this game for at least a half. But I just think that the second half defensive adjustments that Ohio State's going to be able to make, and if they have a healthy Kyle Young, it's just going to be too much for Oral Roberts. The number will definitely change and determine how I bet this game, but I don't think Oral Roberts is pulling off the 15-2 upset.
All right, we're going to talk about the final zone here, the final bracket zone here, and then we have some questions that I've been copying and pasting, so we'll be around for another 10 minutes or so. Cheech Marina's great to see you, and Michael DeMaria says we'll take more of your money, Jimmy. Yeah, I think the spending penny bomb low bag NCAA pool should, let's go 50. Well, I'll go higher, but let's go 50 as the floor.
Whoa. What are these Ottawa Senators doing? Fuck the Ottawa Senators. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go.
Leafs are falling apart in front of us.
I don't want to see or hear that.
They're falling apart.
Serenity now and Sandy later.
Okay, the Midwest region, our final region. And again, Max and I are going to break all these games down. And this is our second go over. So we had the very first takes from Max, which were so exciting. And now he's had about 45 minutes to sit in it. Max, number 1 seed Illinois, number 16 seed Drexel.
Yeah, Illinois is going to win the game. It's going to be about the number. I think that Illinois, with their ability to score down with Kofi Coburn down low, with Io's ability to freaking score from wherever the hell he wants, even from half court, there's just too many weapons. Drexel's going to have the game of their life from Cam Winter, TJ Bickerstaff, James Butler, Zach Walton to have a chance. I just don't think they're going to.
2-0 Ottawa. Number 8, Loyola Chicago. Number 9, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think that Loyola Chicago's winning this game. It's going to be interesting to see what the number is. I hope that Loyola Chicago's anywhere from a 3.5 to 5 point dog. I'll be looking to get on them. I think that this is just a much better Loyola Chicago team. They definitely got some respect when it comes to seeding, but I think they're advancing.
Number 5, Tennessee. Number 12, Oregon State.
Yeah, Tennessee. Oregon State, you had a nice run. You made it here. but you're not freaking going through Tennessee. You're drinking Jack Daniels. You're waking up with your fucking zipper open and piss stains all over your jeans. Simple as that.
Brings back sweet, sweet memories. Number 4, Oklahoma State. Number 13, Liberty.
Yeah, with Liberty, obviously it's a little biased, but I think that Liberty is improved over last year's team. I think that with their ability to play the same quality defense and to be able to score frequently and not have it plague them, I'll be looking at Liberty.
Number 6, San Diego State. Number 11, Syracuse.
Yeah, listen, I think that Syracuse definitely has a good matchup, but I just don't think that they can win this game. I think that if you see the right number, yeah, for sure, Syracuse is a spot. The zone's going to have to be effective. They're going to have to be able to limit some of SDSU's three-point shooting. And with Syracuse, in games that they hit 7 or more threes in the first half, they're very hard to beat. So the start's going to be very important, but the number's even more important when it comes to this matchup.
Number 3, West Virginia. Number 14, Morehead State.
Yeah, I got to look at Morehead State on the spread in this spot. I don't know if they're pulling out the outright upset, but they definitely have the components. They can slow you down. They can score on the half court. They have a dominant rim protector. They have quality freaking guard play with freaking Skylar Potter, with freaking the Coopers. I just think that this Morehead State team, although they surprise a lot by getting here and beating Belmont, I just think that they have some more in them. So maybe a first half play on them is something I'd be interested in, see how West Virginia comes out. But this West Virginia team without Oscar Tshiebwe is not as good as they were with him.
Number 7, Clemson. Number 10, Rutgers.
Yeah, listen, I know that Rutgers is going to be a popular pick, but I think that Clemson plays better defense. I think that with Alamir Dawes running the point for Clemson, it's a lot more consistent. Jacob Young's going to have a good game, and if Jacob Young has to play a whole bunch of ISO, well, I think that that's something that the Clemson defense can narrow in on. They're going to be able to do a good job of getting and facilitating their offense. They've done a better job as of late. Can Clemson hit threes? If Clemson can hit threes, then I think they can win in advance.
So it is confirmed. Gas station asking you like Liberty plus 9.5.
I don't have a line in front of me.
Okay, yeah, so we need to wait.
I'm not going to talk about it because I'm just giving you guys my first glance.
For sure. Okay, and then we have number 2, Houston. Number 15, Cleveland State to close up the bracket.
Yeah, listen, I think that with Houston, it's hard to bet against them. I think that if you see a number in the 25 range, you may have to freaking stop yourself. But the way that they just ramped through and went through everybody in their conference and the way that they played in second halves. So having a strong first half is all good and gravy. But if you can't maintain that for 40 minutes, then you're a dangerous team to be backing, especially at these gigantic numbers that we're assuming we're going to get. I think that Cleveland State definitely is a feel-good story, but their season ends against Houston.
Max, incredible job. 2 takes at breaking down each and every single one of those games, and both times you did it was fantastically interesting. Wonderful. So I copied and pasted 6 of the questions. 6 questions that were outside of the regions that we were talking about. The first from our man Luke says, and I think you've told us this, I think you just mentioned it, but he did ask, can my boys in Oregon State beat Eves, Pons, and Tennessee?
I personally don't think so. Listen, I'm not the most sound or reliable source to go to for Pac-12 predictions, but from what I've watched at Oregon State, I think that they've had a good run, but I do think it ends. I think that this Tennessee team is going to win with defense. The question always is the offense going to come, and can they play 40 minutes? I think that we saw Jaden Springer and Keon Johnson really have a very strong masculine effort, and I think that they can carry it over into the tournament. This is a team that now without John Fulkerson definitely shouldn't be lined as high, but if Fulkerson plays, it just adds to the quality of this Tennessee offense and the ability for them to make high percentage shots. If they're hanging out on the 3-point line trying to fucking bury 33s, well, then yeah, your Beavers definitely got a shot. I just don't think that you're going to see that type of game. I think you're going to see Tennessee inflict their physicality, win on the glass, force Oregon State to foul, and then score at the free throw line.
Can't wait. I can't wait for that game. Thank you, Ray Charles, for the love. And we do have the first numbers coming out. Gas Station Sushi sharing them with us. Loyola, 2.5-point favorites over Georgia Tech.
Oh, that's a terrible line. Fuck.
Okay, next up, Max, is from Puzzler, a.k.a. Canascat. Is there a team which has a higher likelihood of COVID issues, perhaps having had a notably careless season?
Yeah, I think that Virginia you got to look at right now. Aside from that, who else has had a bunch of COVID layoffs? No, that's probably it. Yeah, I'd probably only say Virginia. Maybe. I guess some people would say VOD Tech also, but I don't believe that bullshit.
Okay, next up, Bang Bang asks how many ladies of the night will you have before the tournament starts? I mean, that's...
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know if I can get a lady of the night, an appointment with a lady of the night right now. You know, it's March Madness. That means that all the degenerates are spending their Lucci over there, trying to get some chocha.
Luke, who asked the question about his boys Oregon State, he says, what type of team can beat Gonzaga, if any?
I think that a team that can beat Gonzaga is a team that can freaking defend the paint, but also close out well on three-point shooters, which we know is only Corey Kispert. So there definitely is a game plan that you can plan. The problem is just you need Gonzaga to have a bad shooting night. If Gonzaga has a bad shooting night, then anybody has a chance against them. But if they're functioning and they're having that good crisp ball movement and they're getting and scoring from all three levels, like it's hard for anybody to beat them. I don't think Baylor can beat them on a good day. You need to have Gonzaga play down to their opponent and have an off shooting game to have a chance, in my opinion. Otherwise, I hate to say it, but Gonzaga can fucking walk through this shit. If they had to play UConn in the Final Four, they'd probably lose.
Okay. We will close up our shot with Logan saying, could Moses Moody take Arkansas on a Final Four run?
I think that Moses Moody is definitely the second most impressive freshman in the SEC behind Cam Thomas. I think that if he gets going, we've seen him be able to play against stronger, bigger guys in the conference all year. If he gets his three-point shot going and then opens up lanes to the rim, I don't think that there's any stopping him. He's a special player that I don't think gets enough attention because of how many good pieces are surrounding him.
Max, spectacular job here. Unbelievable. Great job. Thank you. It was so great seeing everybody, man. You guys are just so missed. And it's nice to be live with everybody. So much love to all of you guys. Puzzler, a.k.a. Canascat, Alex Ramirez, Paco, Healy, Sonny Vega, Guillermo Zertucci, Jansen Bonzen, Nate Dogg 420, Todd Clinton, John Schwartz, Schwartzy baby. If anybody needs help getting into the Penny Bombs pool, follow Spencer on Twitter, but just hit me up and I'll make sure that you guys get in. Gerald Jones, Ray Charles, Gas Station Sushi, Michael DeMaria, Mike Smith, all you guys, man. Thank you so much for your support. And Max, incredible job, my man. We are 4 days and 16 hours and 28 minutes before tip-off of March Madness.
Bro, I see lines.
Look at that smile.
I see the lines. Yeah. They're so nice. Well, there's a lot of respect being given to a lot of teams here.
Well, why don't we take a look at the lines very, very quickly? We got to put, but what are the spots that are just like screaming at you right now?
Well, just from the first ones I looked at, I think that Winthrop 6.5 looks pretty nice. I think that Mount St. Mary plus 1.5 looks nice. I like App State -2. That looks like a good number. I have to obviously do a whole bunch of work on these, but just first glance. What else did I like?
What offshore could I jump on, or is this FanDuel have them up? What?
I'm sure that FanDuel has them up. They're usually pretty on point, but I'm on sportbet.com.
Okay.
I see Arkansas minus 9.5. That's a good number right there off the top.
We do. We have them up.
Yeah, that Drexel line is big. That little Chicago line sucks. I hate that line.
It's -3 at FanDuel.
Oh my god, I see 2.5 right now.
What do you think? Hartford plus 26 Baylor.
I like that. I like that at first glance.
Liberty down to 9. Did you think Liberty would be double-digit dogs?
I think that it's fair. I probably would have had them a little higher, probably around 11.5 or 12. But I'm all about Liberty. Liberty doesn't have to win the game to cover the spread for us. Obviously, I think that they can win. And I wasn't even sure that Oklahoma State was allowed to play in this tournament. So obviously they are. I think that San Diego State line is very low. 2 points? That's pretty low. That's a lot of respect to Syracuse.
That is too much respect to Syracuse. I agree with that.
I think it's too much respect.
Are you surprised Florida is a slight favorite over Virginia Tech?
No, I'm not really surprised by that. I think that I'm more surprised by the fact that Houston's only a 19-point favorite. That's surprising. But I don't know. I'm inclined to fucking consider it.
Are you surprised Connecticut is 2-point favorites over Maryland?
No, I'm not surprised there. I probably would have made them closer to 5. So I'll be happy as a duck to take them at fucking below a 3-point shot. But listen, UConn's got to be able to fucking score early against this perimeter defense. Maryland has been stymied, but we have seen them get exposed. So,
did you think that that LSU would just be a 1-point favorite over the Bonnies?
I would have thought that LSU would have been a 3.5-point favorite. So the Bonnies are getting a little more respect than I anticipated. But I would still take the Bonnies at +1. Still take them on the money line. I think they win the game, I think they win the game legitimately. Not being a fan, just knowing what I know about these numbers, how they are in my power rankings.
This is so exciting. So exciting. Well, Max and I have a lot of work to do. We are going to break down each and every single one of these games for you guys on the odds.com YouTube page. So we'll go region by region. Max will lead us through that, which regions he wants to attack first. And obviously we're going to need, markets for all these opportunities. But within the next 48 hours, all the games will be up. And Max, spectacular work. It was nice being live with the boys again. Max, do you have any last words to the great cappers supporting us here?
Listen, it's obviously a pleasure to be on with Jim. This is freaking like the old days, having everybody in the chat. Obviously, we want to do lots more of this. And I think that the best way that we can assure that we do more of these are by mobilizing, making our voices heard, and click, 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 click.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way, guys.
That's the way to show it. Absolutely. Like and subscribe and just let odds know that we want more live shows. On behalf of Maxwell Smart, myself, everybody at odds.com, let's have a giant few weeks. It's March Madness, baby. Let's go. Ella, you want to quick say hi? You want to say, yeah, my daughter came just for a quick little end of the show. Ella, you got your PJs on? It's March Madness, baby. You ready for March Madness? You ready for March Madness?
I'm going to bed.
Okay.
You going to bed?
Okay. On behalf of all of us, let's go. Let's get paid in full. Let's get that cash.